to my new YouTube channel. This is Let's Calculate Something. I'll be doing various videos on math, algebra, calculus, geometry, trigonometry, maybe a little linear algebra. I'll try to solve some word problems here and there, work on some fundamentals from each of these classes. And the first thing I'm going to do, which is pretty elementary, but I'm going to start with solving the quadratic equation, as you see up on the board. So we'll go and derive the solution to that. I think everyone knows what it is, but how do you get it? That's the trick. And then we'll talk a little bit about a couple of the complex number system, because it can deliver a complex solution, not just a real number, but a complex number. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So let's get started. All right, so it comes in the natural form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And then now, how do we derive x? That's what we're going to do. So we'll start by getting rid of that c and try to isolate the x variable. So that'll give us ax squared plus bx equals minus c by subtracting c from both sides. And then now let's get rid of the a in front of the exponent. We'll divide by a. So that'll give us x squared plus b over a x equals minus c over a. All right, so now there's a trick, and it's called completing the square. So if we complete the square, what we have to do is take this term here and multiply it by 1/2 and then square it. If we do that, we will get b squared over 4a squared. Okay, so if we take that term and we add it to both sides, we'll have x squared plus b over a x plus b squared over 4a squared equals minus c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. You can see that's an a, sorry. All right, so now we can simplify the left side, and that can be just x plus b over 2a squared equals, and let's simplify this side here. If we multiply by 4a squared over 4a squared, which is actually 1, right? We can always multiply something by 1. Then we can simplify this. So if we multiply this on both, the whole thing, we will see that this a will cancel here. So we'll get minus 4ac, and then the 4a squared will cancel, and we'll get plus b squared all over a common denominator of 4a squared. Okay. Now, we can rewrite this. We can rewrite it as b squared minus 4ac, change the order, over 4a squared. Now, if we take the square root of both sides, we can then simplify this side, and we can isolate, get rid of that exponent. We can get rid of this exponent, so we'll have x plus b over 2a equals the square root of b squared minus 4ac over the square root of 4a squared. Now we can simplify that further to be the square root of b squared minus 4ac, but we have to remember to put the plus or minus here, so it could be positive or negative, and this turns into 2a. All right, now we can solve for x. We have x by subtracting b over 2a from both sides. We can get x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, because this is a common denominator, and that's our answer. Okay, now let's look at this little piece here. Let's just have a look at this piece. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, then we're going to get a real number. But if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, we're going to get a complex number, okay? And the complex number, so let's imagine that this turns out to be a negative number. Let's imagine it becomes -5. And now I have to take the square root of a -5. Well, it's very difficult to take a square, there's no two numbers multiplied together that'll give you a negative number that are the same number. There's no square root for that. So there's a new number system, which is called the complex number system. And we define that with I equals the square root of -1. So this would simplify to be I times the square root of 5. Okay? So this is the solution. You don't have to memorize it anymore if you know this trick. If you know to complete the square and simplify the equation, you don't have to memorize this equation anymore. You can derive it. You could remember it if everyone kind of knows it, but now you know how to derive it. Okay? Thank you, and look for more videos on the channel. If you can subscribe and like this video, that'll help me get the channel established, and I can do more and more videos. I'll be doing another one on exponentials in a minute.